Again, you don't want to take all the frame mounts out at one time because then free falling. Hey guys, it's Alan, the Fireman 1028, and today we're back with our BMW R Nine T Scrambler. Now, we're continuing to get the bike ready for our trip to the Smokey Mountain 500. Again, this is the complete wrong bike to take on it, but that's what's gonna make it fun. So the last couple videos, we've been getting the bike ready for the trip. So let's do a quick recap as to what we've done so far. So we'll start up front here. We have Bark Buster handguards with a nice aluminum handguards. Those come from Wunderlich. We've got unit garage bar risers for a little bit more comfort. We've got a unit garage oil cooler cover, guard in the front. We've got unit garage canvas saddlebags, single-sided canvas saddlebags in their single-sided swing arm bracket. We've got pivot pegs, which are freaking awesome pivot pegs. You guys are awesome. And the next piece of installation we're gonna do is our Wunderlich Crash Bars. So originally I wasn't gonna put crash bars on the bike, but talking with Hans over at Wunderlich in Hendersonville, North Carolina, he's like, dude, he said, you really got to put crash guards on this thing. So we worked out a deal and we got a set of their really, really high quality, check these things out, these really high quality crash guards. Hans and the group up there have been absolutely fantastic. We're also doing their skid plate, which we had a bit of an issue with their installation of that one. You know, apparently one of the holes wasn't drilled right, so I called up Hans. They pulled another one from the shelf, said, yep, there's a problem with that particular one. Hey, we already decided that we're going to stop by their office in Hendersonville on the way up to the Smokey Mountain 500. So he said, bring it with you. We'll change it out. No problem at all. So like I always say, it's not when there's a problem, it's how you respond to it. And Hans at the group at Wunderlich were fantastic. So guys, congratulations. So let's get started with the installation of these crash bars. Again, just like any video, if you see anything that's helpful, give me a thumbs up, throw a comment up there, and the ultimate compliment is to subscribe. So let's get started. So here's a quick look at the parts that they give you with the kit there. You know, Wunderlich has always been known as a really high-end kind of manufacturer of aftermarket parts. But if you look at the quality of the spacers and the thickness of the metal that they use and the quality of the bolts and everything that they have, you know this stuff is, again, it's pricey, but it's worth it. I mean, and they even give you a bottle of German Loctite too. I had to actually do a Google Translate to make sure that's what it was. But it's called screw hold is what it actually translates to in English. I'm not gonna try to pronounce it, but there you go. See, just stuff like that. It's really high quality stuff. So their crash bars are designed to be a, you know, no cut, no mess installation with really nice, actually kind of looks like a little bit of a Jeep logo right there on the front. But how it's going to install is that our O2 sensors right here, as you can see, but this is going to install with the spacers kind of over top of that to, again, to add some protection here, but also it's going to look like this when we get done with the installation right here. So it's really going to protect our O2 sensor. We got our skid plate that's going to protect our pipes, and this is really going to give protection to the whole engine cylinder, which is stupid expensive while still looking really good. It's nice low profile and sleek, doesn't stick out, doesn't scream. Look at me, I'm a crash guard like something like Givi or something like that. No offense to you guys. I mean, you make good products, but they stand out and they just really kind of, you know, they kind of scream at you. This is really low profile. The paint's kind of a satin finish to it, which kind of matches the rest of the paint of the bike. It matches the frame, so it looks like it. Honestly, the color looks identical to the frame there. So they really took their time to match the colors up and everything else. So it looks like it could have come from the factory like this, which is exactly, again, it's what you're paying for when you buy high quality products. All right, guys, so we're going to start off on the right side of the bike. Now, step one shows to go ahead and put the engine guard up and install this bolt and spacer right here. However, the second step is removing this screw right here, which is actually a support for the engine. Now, I would highly recommend removing this one first, as opposed to this one here, because you can't access this bolt once you do that. So I would jump ahead, remove this bolt, and then you can do both steps at one time. Now this screw is a 55 millimeter Torx, or a 55 Torx, however you're gonna call it. It's a big one too. Now their instructions, God bless them, you know, English as a second language, says dismantle original screw. It is obsolete. You can almost hear them saying it in a very, very German voice. So basically saying that we're going to remove this screw and it's not being reused. And she's a long one too. All right, now that we've gotten that bolt removed, now we can go ahead and put on the engine guard. Do a couple threads there, just hold her up. And we're going to use the 35mm spacer with the longer bolt. Come on, Wunderlich. Now, the Torx head bolts are coming off, and they are being replaced with metric Allen head bolts. So, thank you. Thank you, Wunderlich, for that piece of advice. So the front bolt is a, what is that? That is a, the front is an 8mm, and the rear is a 10. Again, we're not going to tighten these down all the way. We're just going to get them tighter. Now, again, what we're going to do is we're not going to tighten these down, because what we have to do is we still have to access this bolt back in there. Now, they give you this long threaded rod here that's going to go all the way through the frame, which is going to tie both sides together. So if you completely tighten down in step 1 and 2, as it says, you won't be able to access that guy right there. So let's go ahead and break him loose and pull that bolt out, and that way we can go ahead and kind of semi-snug these lower guys down here. Now, what we had to do to get this big guy out right there, it took a little bit of ingenuity and trickeration. So we're using our T55 on the left side of the bike, but then we put a number 18 socket here on this side and just kind of let it rest up against there to help bring the nut. See inside there. There's a nut down inside there, so we got to break that loose, and just doing one side, it just kind of spins it all over the place. So a little bit of thinking, a little bit of ingenuity. Now again, we're just removing this bolt now just to make the steps down the road later, so we don't have to go back and redo a bunch of stuff. And there it is. There's the bolt. All right, guys, so I want to just show you a little something here. Now, this is not in the instructions, and I don't even know if Wunderlich would approve of it, but what I did, so again, you have to remove this upper bolt right there. That goes all the way through, and it is a structural piece that holds the engine to the frame. Now, you've already removed this lower guy here, this guy, which again, it ties the frame into the engine, and that only leaves a couple other connections. So what I did was I took a jack and I put it underneath of the engine, and I mean just the slightest amount of upward pressure, just to take a little bit of stress off that upper bolt. And it went from really tight to, with just the right pressure, it slid right out. Now your engine is being supported by the jack, and we can pull this bolt right here. We can pull this bolt all the way out without any stress on the engine. We're going to leave the jack in place until we can get the new bolt back through there. Then it should, the long threaded rod, and it should put the support back on that. So again, not in the instructions, but just a recommendation of mine, and it worked out well. So now we can go ahead and put the threaded rod in. So you got one of your spacers right there that goes in place. Then you take your new threaded rod with a washer on the end. We're going to run it through. Again, there's zero pressure on the engine. Okay, so at this point we can go ahead and tighten down our bolts. Again, not completely tighten them down here on the left side of the bike, and then we can move over to the right side. Now again, the upper has a nut. That one right there has got a nut that'll attach on the other side through the threaded rod. All right, guys, so we moved over to the left side of the bike, and we're going to put our other crash bar on. So this is where that bolt has come through right there. That replaced the other one. I went ahead and removed this lower bolt right here, which is, again, it's a frame mount. Again, you don't want to take all the frame mounts out at one time because then free falling. So we're going to put the other bracket on. So we're going to start with this upper bolt that we put through here. So it takes the large spacer, which sits in there like that. Then the bracket goes, or the guard goes over top of it like that. Then it takes the washer and the nut. And we're just going to lightly put those on there, which will give us some room to work on the other ones. Damn it, boy. Again, just enough to kind of hold it in place. Now, let's see if we can get them lowerings. Now, you do have a cable that runs underneath there too. So again, make sure you pull your cable out of the way so you don't pinch it, as I say. Wife says pinch, I say pinch. Let me take our other spacer and odd bolt. Now this one actually is going to sit inside of the frame. Need that to get that guy in place. Yeah. All right, so we got all the bolts in place. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back, and we got everything kind of dry fit. We're gonna go back and we're gonna add some thread lock to all the ones that actually go inside the case. This upper one has a nylon wash nut, so it really is not needed. So we'll go back, add some Loctite, tighten everything down and torque it to spec, and then we'll go from there. All right, guys, so we got all the bolts through. We got this guy through here, which again, either takes a second person or it takes really long arms. And we got our lower bolts in. Now, so for the, and it says it in the book, but it's in millimeters, and I don't do freedom units. There's two medium-sized fat or bolts. There's a 110 millimeter and then there's a 90 millimeter. The 110 goes on the left-hand side of the bike. The 90 millimeter goes on the right-hand side of the bike. The two upper ones are the same size, same thing with the spacers. And then obviously the big guy goes all the way through the front here. So again, the protection is massive. You still have access to your spark plugs. You still have, you'll have to pull them off to pull your valve cover off to do your, valve inspections and adjustments. But, it's a really simple, it'd take 5 minutes to take them off now that everything is done at this point. So piece of cake. Wunderlich, great job. All right, guys, so that'll do it for the installation of our Wunderlich engine guards for our BMW R Nine T Scrambler. Again, this was kind of the most critical piece of protection for going for really doing any sort of off-roading, because if you drop it, we got protection up here, now we got protection on our engine guards, we're good to go. Let's go ride. And again, Wunderlich makes incredible products. We're going to tour their North American facility here in the next week, as a matter of fact. And hopefully we don't have to try them out, but if we do, we know we're protected. So if you see anything that you like, give me a thumbs up, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for watching. God bless, roll tide, and remember, tomorrow needs you. See you guys. Get them lowerings in there, boy. Try not to make sure you don't pinch that. Whoops.
Well, son of a bitch.
No one else can take you high, high. Again, you don't want to take all the frame mounts out at one time because then free falling.